On Wednesday, March 2, 2011, members of Congress were invited to attend a briefing sponsored by Congressman Sam Farr, Democrat, California, and Jay Inslee, Democrat, Washington. The briefing was titled Reviving Coastal Economies Through Healthy, Vibrant Fisheries and Oceans. The participants were Dr. William Hogarth, Interim Director, Institute of Oceanography, USF; Eric Schwab, Assistant Administrator for Fisheries, NOAA; Keith Buddy Gwindon, commercial fisherman and member of the Gulf of Mexico Reef Fish Shareholders Alliance; and Glenn Libby, Chairman, Mid-Coast Fishermen's Association, another commercial fisherman. Little did they know that we, the Fishing Rights Alliance, were also there, sitting in the very front row. We were escorted into the room in the Capitol building by our congressional leaders who are not in favor of privatizing a public resource and support the efforts of the Fishing Rights Alliance to fight back against those who are bent on commoditizing our fisheries. For nearly an hour, we heard what amounted to a lobbying effort by several stakeholders, all in favor of catch shares. Immediately after, we heard from each speaker. They opened the floor up to questions. Listen as Mr. Dennis O'Hearn, Executive Director of the Fishing Rights Alliance, asks the most notable question of the day.
Yes, Dennis O'Hearn, Executive Director of Fishing Rights Alliance. I'm from St. Pete, Florida. I'm a recreational fisherman, but I've also got commercial and charter members in my group. One of my concerns is that I see that we're reviving coastal economies, and I'm kind of stumped by how a fisherman can make money when he has to lease a share from you or somebody else, buddy, who owns the shares, and he makes his sharecropper rate of $1.50 a pound, and you make the $2 or $2.50 or $3 a pound that you're actually leasing the share for. How is that enhancing the coastal economy other than, it's making everybody, it seems like anyway to me, it's making everybody into a sharecropper except the people who originally grabbed the land, which is people who had the historical 5-year slot when red snapper wasn't available in our area. And also, who's paying the $1 a pound offset that you're throwing your 35,000 pounds Eastern Gulf stuff to offset the bycatch mortality? Who's paying that $1 a pound? I hear they can get $1 a pound cheaper Bob Spade and his boys if they go through that program. And I was wondering who's covering that, or is that just coming out of your pocket?
I got $3 a pound for my fish, and I leased them to the Gulf of Mexico Quota Bank. That's his business. I really don't know.
The Gulf of Mexico Quota Bank?
Yeah, okay. That's what I leased them. And I got what everyone else is getting, $3 a pound. And your first question?
How does it enhance coastal economies when it seems to concentrate the wealth in the owners of the shareholders who, now you don't even have to fish your shares, you can lease them out. And then Bob Spade, and if I were to get into it, I'd only get $1.50 a pound instead of $4 a pound. I'm not sure how that's enhancing the coastal
first of all,
economies.
if I kept my shares over at my fish house, I would do better than I do leasing them out. I only lease them out to participate in that program, And how does it contribute? The species of fish that they fish for over in the Eastern Gulf is red grouper, predominant species, and they didn't have red snapper in the past, so they weren't able to get full. Now that the species is rebuilt over there because of the hard work of everyone here, recreational fishermen and commercial fishermen, there's an issue, and those issues are what we go these people at the National Fisheries to address. And as a Reef Fish Shareholders Alliance member, we are addressing those issues. What we're looking at, maybe giving a portion of our fish to be used only in the Eastern Gulf. And by doing that, forcing fishermen that have the quota to only use them in this zone. They're not going to take their boat over to fish that. They're going to lease them, thereby driving the price of lease down. It's just one thing we're looking at. And we would like from you some participation in helping us out of that. Because the best way to get fishery management done is to get everybody to work together. And fighting isn't helping. We've learned that over the years, that fighting doesn't get anywhere. It confuses these people who manage our fisheries, and it doesn't help us. If we would sit down at the table and discuss these matters instead of you being hard-headed one way and me being hard-headed the other way, we could get this work done. We wouldn't be here and wanting to point fingers at each other about how much money I might be making off of the fish.
Thanks for your answers.
Many former environmental organization executives now occupy top-level positions within the federal government. Our U.S. Department of Commerce is a prime example of this. Jane Lubchenco and other top bureaucrats influence how millions of dollars are doled out for programs like catch shares. They operate and espouse programs that are devastating our economy, and they influence innumerable decisions that shape your future, especially in fisheries management. It is time to step up and take a stand against these people, and more importantly, against activist private foundations who pour millions of dollars into 501(c) environmental organizations so they can have their agendas realized in the form of more restrictive laws designed to keep us off the water and away from our fish. You decide. Have you had enough yet?